Everybody jumps on. Okay, so I'm looking at the calendar, you guys, and this is the last full week of January. We have successfully, most of us, made it through January, which, is, whew, man, that went by fast and slow all at the same time, right? You ever feel like that? So, whew, my goodness. We'll talk about a little bit kind of how we should be viewing January, but before we do that, let's get into shout outs. Let's get into gratitude. Let's get into who we want to recognize maybe on our teams. And I love that Michaela's hand popped up so fast because I'm going to her. Michaela, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to shout out my bomb team because we had our Q1 listing recertification. Every quarter, our team decides that, hey, we need to be the best of the best, and we recertified to be listing agents. And so we had all of our agents, we did a Shark Tank theme. And so we had TJ Mack, Elizabeth Gassos, and Sally Reed as our sharks. And then all of our agents had to convince them to let them list their house. And so we had an actual FSBO, an actual valuation lead, and an expired listing that these agents got in advance and prepped for, and they did amazing. We even had an agent who is not even out of launch yet. She hasn't actually even launch certified for her listing certification, and they all just did awesome. And so it was really fun to see it. It's super cool.
If you guys don't follow the Dallas team on the DFW BKT team on Instagram, that's where you could keep up with what they're doing. We saw this yesterday and I was like, that's cool. Really, really nice. So recertification, think about that, guys. Recertifying. Whoa, that set chills up some people's arms right now. So we might not talk about it too much, but I love the idea because you're right. The market changes and everything we do has to keep up with it. Love it. All right, keep it coming. And while you think about it, I'll give a couple shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Miss Louisa on our Austin team. She did a women's conference last week and just put her heart and soul into it and lots of work. Came away with over 50 new nurtures to add to her database, and already is sending one to get pre-approved. So that was really, really cool. I love that. So think about how can I get in front of multiple people versus one person, right? And then I want to give a shout out to Charlie on our team. She pended an expired listing that she took, and it had a week closing. So that's very exciting. You never know how quickly these things can turn. And then my last quick shout out for the Austin team, it goes to Jonathan and Alexandra. They did the first YouTube live for our team. It was 42 minutes and you have to be on your feet. And I just, the reason I want to recognize them, obviously for only leaders and team. And also I want to recognize that sometimes it takes someone being that first person to jump off the diving board, right? So think about things that you've always wanted to do, things that you've talked to your team leader about doing. Sometimes you just gotta go and just jump off the diving board into the deep end, and it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be done. And so I love that. Miss Helen, I am going to you.
Hey, good morning. So I wanted to shout out Carrie, Alita, and Donnie for growth. Wanted to shout out Carrie and Alita because they agreed to go through one of Brendan Burchard's books with me this month. So together we've been going through the 6 Habits of Growth, and it's been amazing. It's a really short read. I think it's 5 or 6 hours if you do Audible. And I love reading, but if I can go through a book with somebody and we talk about it and talk about our takeaways and ahas, it's really great. And so I just thank them for doing that with me. And then shout out to Donnie for growth. I'm going to butcher the certification that he got, and I promise one day I'm going to write things down before I raise my hand. But Donnie just became certified as a senior sales something. There's a certification that he just got. Tracy can probably give the correct title, but he just went through all the coursework and all of that time and investment. And so he's now like a senior certified real estate agent. And so just congratulations to him for completing that. And then thank you to the ladies for being a part of the January book club, if you will.
I love that. I love how you always shout out your people, Helen. That is so awesome. And anything we do, guys, right? When we do it together or we find a small group to do it with, I'll tell you what, I'm more likely to actually complete it. I'll start anything. I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but you'll start something, right? It's the finishing part that's the actually okay, doing something for more than a few days. Brandon, go to you.
What's up? So wanted to shout out one of our partners here in San Antonio, Kaylee. She's endeavoring on continuing her wealth value, and she's in the market right now, has been looking at homes while doing all the other things. And so shout out to her for putting the plan together. They're already homeowners, but they're working on the move up, one to get closer to this side of town, but also just to make that first property a rental. That's awesome.
Right on.
So I'm excited for her to find the right one. And then shout out also to Kyla on our team. Something we've been talking about since goal planning when we were looking at our gaps from last year was our team's been very good at like building big databases straight out of launch, right? And the baskets that we had been missing intermittently was the other things, right? The buyer reps, the pendings, or you get a pending, but you don't sign another listing for a while. And so we've started tracking it differently the last maybe 3 or 4 months. But last week, Kyla, while she missed the contact standard for the team, and this is where the gap has been for most of us in and out of the year, she had 1 pending, 2 sellers signed, 1 buyer signed, 2 buyer appointments, 3 listing appointments. And so we've kind of been focusing on that balance, right? Like, hey, you're not always going to get the contacts. That's okay. And our contact standard's high. It's 100 contacts a week for lead rotation or a pending. And so I think some of the pressure was there to always get the contacts. And then we might have had like a lag on the rest of it, right? And so we've been trying to find that balance as business owners to say, hey, look, you can't always be 100% on those conversations, but if you're filling and putting bread in those other baskets, then your conversion is going to start to turn over, and then you could find where your bare minimums are, and then where you could really thrive. And so that was a really good example last week of not, giving yourself grace in one area, but really killing it in the other area. So that was exciting to see. And then for Ray on our team, he had 605 Brivity dials last week.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a new.
Ray.
That was a new for us. So now that kind of raised the bar for us. It was cool to see.
I love that. Kaylee, great job on your wealth building. And man, Kyla, right? Contacts. The purpose of contacts is so that you can get a nurture or an appointment, right? The rest is just, it's work, right? But like, I love that, like your guys' focus. And Ray, man, you're knocking out of the park. 605 Brivity Dallas. All right, who's going to challenge him? Because that is a good. Somebody needs to get 610 now. Tracy, let's rock with you.
Hey, okay, I'm not challenging you, Brendan. Not challenging you. That's awesome, dude. I just wanted to say thank you to Helen for shouting out. She beat me to the shout out for our team members, but so I really, really love the way Helen always shouts people out. But I also wanted to introduce, have 3 new team members, Jacqueline and then Patricia and Julie, and I'm very excited for them to join the team, and they're on their first Thursday training call. So we appreciate them being here, and the training is always amazing from you, Miss Adelina, and everybody you bring on. So thank you to you for that.
So exciting. Jacqueline and Patricia and Julie, welcome. Awesome. Look at that. Right on. What a good start. Good start to today and a good ending to January. And speaking of January, you guys, it kind of like we have like February. So February will come and go. Like there's 28 days in February. So it's a short little month. So it'll be a short month, and then it'll be March, right? And the second March hits, what happens? There are a lot of things that happens, but what I'm looking for is like, that's the end of quarter 1, right? Because everything that you planned for March goes into quarter 2. So really our quarter 1 is made up of that January and February. So we're like basically halfway through quarter 1 right now, right? And the reason I bring that up, we've been talking about OTE, on track earnings, right? It's something that we talk about like weekly with the Austin team. I'm sure they get tired of it. I get tired of myself saying it, obviously. But think about like, okay, am I, halfway on track to my Q1 goals? And how do I determine my Q1 goals? And how much I should be closing in Q1? And every team will do it slightly different. In Austin, we want to have 15% of our yearly goal closed in Q1, right? It's a little bit of a slower quarter, totally okay with that. And then Q2, 30%, Q3, 30%, Q4, 25%, right? And across the board, if we can keep kind of that pace, then we hit our yearly goal. So we are on track for our earnings, right? So I bring that up because today we have Jesse, who is the president of our mortgage company. And one of the things that could really benefit all of us, outside of just like getting an update on everything that's happening in the mortgage world, what's happening with our mortgage company, but like how we can get these buyers off the fence. Like what are some things that we can be saying to them so that we can take this second half of Q1 and just get these people pended, get them into a house. So I'm gonna go ahead and spotlight Jesse and make him a co-host. And then I'm gonna let him take it away and just share with us everything he wants to share. A lot of you guys know him. If you don't know him, Jesse, you've been here a couple of years now, I feel like.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Woo, all right.
I'm just about ready to tip over. I could start saying 2 years, but yeah, I've been here a couple of years, and thank you for the introduction, Adeline. I appreciate it. I want to, you guys, I'm very, very grateful to be here. And so, as Adelina mentioned, we have some mortgage announcements, and I brought my Texas team with me today. So I'm not a great Zoom host, but John Miller, are you out there?
I am.
Howdy, everybody. John. And then we have John's in the Dallas area, but serves you guys in Austin fairly well. And then we have Trisha Flores. Trisha, if you could just shout out there.
Hello.
Trisha's in Houston, and you might recognize that last name. She is what I like to think of as the better half of the Michael Flores group, and she is serving our Houston operations. And then Ishel Romero. Are you out there, Ishel?
Hi guys, how are you?
Ooh, all right. I like that feedback. So Ishel is in the Austin area and is absolutely killing it on with our Spanish-speaking clients, which we absolutely love and are super grateful for. And then last but not least on the call today is Linda Zach. And Linda is our operations manager and all-around go-to glue. So whenever you have a loan that has a variance or comes off track, she and Coleman work together to keep that thing on track. So Linda, are you out there?
I sure am. Hello, everyone.
And Linda's in Ohio living in the snow. So we love that. She's like the opposite of Texas. She's always asking, can I get down to Dallas or Austin, please, and meet some people during this crazy time? So that's our team. Now, our mortgage announcements, we have been, you've seen as BKCO mortgage branding, right? I mean, we've been BKCO mortgage for a while. And a lot of your teams are branded BKT. This is the Ben Kinney Mortgage Company. That was an affiliate of Guaranteed Rate. And I joined venture with Guaranteed Rate. It started as Stearns. Okay, we've been doing that for about 3 years. We've been talking with a lot of you about making a move, right? Mortgage is a huge component of Place's future. And I'm not going to get into details of that. We can do that on another call. But we are trending towards a Place mortgage brand, right? On a platform that we own. That's what we're working towards. So it was time for us to separate from Guaranteed Rate for a lot of reasons. And we chose a Houston-based company called Envoy Mortgage. Our transition is in process right now. We have everybody but Jonathan is officially moved over. He's closing a few more loans at BKCO Mortgage. I almost forgotten the name of our mortgage company. That's how far along we are. So we're going to be branded Envoy Mortgage. This is the next step in our journey to Place Mortgage. Okay, so we worked with Chris Stewart and Ross and the folks in the Place team to make this Envoy decision, and we believe it's a great one. So what this gives us going forward, you're going to hear a lot more about this, but I just want to give you a heads up. So immediately you're going to see change in email addresses for our team. And you've already probably received an announcement or an email or a text about that. So our email address has changed. Phone numbers, everything else stays the same. We all still have our Place email addresses, which is great. So you can connect with us there. And yeah, Texas-based. I thought you guys would like that. I haven't been able to make that claim on the Tennessee call or the Arizona call, but on this call, yes, I'm
Yeah,
excited.
They don't care that much, right? But we do. We like Texas.
I'll be in Houston next week if anyone's interested. Tuesday through Thursday, if anyone wants to grab a cup of coffee early in the morning, because we got full schedule. I'll be in Houston. So Envoy does a couple things. It gives us a national footprint, which is less relevant to our Texas call, but it gives us a national footprint. It also gives us a great technology stack. They have a very, very modern technology stack. They spent about $10 million in the last year and a half upgrading their technology. So that means the point of sale system, the application, you guys will actually have your own portals once we get those set up. So that's going to feel very good. They also have a much deeper product set. So FHA, VA all comes in-house. We are basically underwriting, closing, and funding all of our new, all of our mortgages in-house. We have a non-QM product. We have one-time close construction, which I know, Adelina, several people on your team, we've struggled to kind of find that product, and it's really important in Texas. So we have two one-time close construction products. We can do reverse mortgages. So we also have some non-QM offerings. So the non-QM market is not very solvent right now, but they do have a full suite of non-QM. Whatever's available in the market, we'll be able to get you access to. So the process for us, we're getting our feet wet. I was just texting with Trisha this morning. Her license is almost there. Jonathan will be fully over, but we're ready to go. Business as usual. Send the leads in. We can get you pre-approved and set up. So this is very huge news for us. And again, the main impact you're going to see is some branding change, right? The logo is going to change from BKCO to Envoy. Other than that, it should be business as usual and everything should be on the upside. We're keeping our Advantage Plus program, so no fees, $1,000 credit, loans over $150, which is good news. And we're very excited. And again, this is the next step towards our PLACE Mortgage Ultimate journey, which we expect will happen at some point in 23. So fired up about that. So that's my announcement. I probably took a little too long, but I do want to ask. Miller's got his first loan. I think he's the furthest along. Jonathan, can you just give us your take on kind of the tech and the process and how it worked?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. So it's so funny when you hear the word transition, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? It's change, right? How are our systems going to be integrated in with this new platform? And I can say I've got several loans going right now with Envoy, and it's been seamless actually. The tech platform, actually, I called Jesse last night. I was like, man, like, where's this been for the last 3 years, basically, which I'm not giving him enough credit because he's only been for a year and a half. However, but this platform's been fantastic. Like I said, I have several loans going right now. The application for the client is super intuitive to where it basically almost underwrites the process, the application for them, which is amazing. In fact, typically underwritten TBD pre-approvals within 24 hours. So yeah, it's been seamless. Change is scary, but this has been really welcome. So I'm super excited for this.
Yeah, thank you, Miller. And I want to shout out Linda on our team. The reason I had her show up was that she's really been responsible for making this transition go and making it be smooth. And I think we made the right choice. It wasn't a choice we took lightly. This lending partner component is huge because we can talk to you guys all day long about using your in-house groups, but if we don't provide the absolute best service combined with the best technology stack, right, it's a little less relevant. So that's where we're headed, and things will only get better. I am super fired up about the future, and again, I'll be in Houston meeting with their senior leadership team and just getting squared away on what the future looks like for us. So you're going to see a lot of change, but in the meantime, we want to earn your business, and the more of your business we earn, the more benefit we can deliver back to you, right? I had 4 interviews yesterday with individuals that will be, supplementing our team, and it's going to be good. So 23 will be good. Okay. I burned all my time on that, I think, Adelina, but I want to get into some production stuff, if that's all right.
Oh yeah, I love that. Go for it.
Important announcement for us today. So thank you for your patience. I think you guys get on here to make yourselves better, but I think this is going to improve all of our lives dramatically. All right, so let's talk about the market, and I'll move quickly and I'll get us out of here in 9 minutes, I promise. But I wanted to talk about rates, and the theme for us has been that it was shocking to me. So we broke lead records in August, September, October. November and December were down a little bit, but we broke at BKCO all of our lead records in those previous 3 months. And then November and December were good. Our throughput yield to fund plummeted from 22% down to we're running about 8%, maybe even south of that today. And what that means, for every lead that we get, what number of deals do we fund? Now, what that means to me is that, our team is doing this, we're doing the same activities. So we're working to improve our sales process every single day, just like you are. But what that means to me at a global level is that a lot of buyers are sitting on the sidelines. And we have, I think we're over we might be over 800. We're definitely between 700 and 800 long-term follow-ups, individuals that we either pre-qualified or pre-approved that are on the sidelines, that are on their heels, right? That are waiting for something to change. So that's really got to be the focus, especially Q1, Q2. So that's how we're thinking about the market. Interest rates, interest rates are driving the market. And it's a really interesting time. Whatever happens to interest rates is going to happen to our real estate market. We had I think we did about 6 million, Adelina, total transactions nationally last year. We're expected to do about 4 million this year. So there's going to be fewer transactions. But the thing that gives me hope that nobody's talking about is that there is a ton of pent up demand, meaning those 750, 775 people we have in our system that said, I want to buy a house, just not today, right? Those are individuals that can buy. That's why we're seeing a pretty significant uptick in activity. So inflation, let's talk about rates. Inflation was down for the third month in a row. I think I have 2 fingers up, for 3 months in a row. And the PPI, the producer price index, was also down. So I saw some data this morning that kind of countered this, but we believe inflation is going to be trending down. Okay. And that means rates will softly trend down. The next big announcement is February 1st. The Fed, it's next week. I think it's Wednesday, right? Next week, the Fed is going to announce their interest rate adjustments. Now, the Fed is going to increase interest rates. I'm highly confident in that. Whether they do it a quarter or a half is all that matters. As a reminder, if your clients bring this up, what the Fed does doesn't affect mortgage rates. If they increase by a quarter, I'm pretty confident rates will drop a little bit. Okay, and we're not going to get into the dynamics of that. If you're interested in market dynamics, Jonathan Miller is great at it, and I'd love to take some time with you too. But we expect rates to trend down, so that's good news. There's 3 things that we're focused on right now in terms of our talk tracks and how we're communicating. And I want you to adjust this for your market, because the market in Houston is different than the market in Austin is different than the market in Dallas. But home prices are trending down, but have they bottomed? In the Seattle market, which I'm more familiar with, in King County, has lost like 26% of its value in this $600,000 to $900,000 price range. And we're pretty sure that's bottomed out. So now the story to the buyers is, hey, we may have hit a bottom here. And if you want to catch it, go now. Okay. So think about your market. I'm not going to get into it because you have basically 3 distinct markets in Texas and then the rural market, right? So it's hard to talk about this as a state. The number of homes for sale is still low. The national inventory dropped down to 2.9 months in December, and the number of new listings being taken is not catching up. So we're back to low inventory levels. Okay. Interest rates have dropped by 1%. So those are the 3 story points you want to focus on. Hey, here's our home prices. Here's what we think is going to happen. And you guys may have a little room for drops in Austin, but how far, right? And then once rates drop, home values begin appreciating again. So it is a great time for someone to consider either catching the bottom or being close to catching the bottom. Okay. It is our job, from my perspective, to provide perspective. That's really what it's about. The headlines are absolutely insane right now, you guys. And they're all over the board. It's so weird. So you really want to make sure that whatever they're reading online, whatever our buyers are reading online, you want to make sure that you have an answer for your market relative to that. So the script that we're thinking about here is 2023, buyers in the driver's seat, right? It's not really a buyer's market, but the buyers are in the driver's seat. If you're waiting for something to change before buying a home, it just did. This is something all of us are saying multiple times a day. If you're waiting for something to change before buying a home, it just did. I know Place doesn't use all caps, but I decided to throw it in there. So humor me. Adelaide's going to report me to Josiah and I'll get in trouble, but I had to put it in there. Rates 1% lower than the fall. You can save hundreds of dollars each month. Sellers are willing to negotiate. Home price appreciation has slowed, or prices have dropped from the spring highs, depending on your market, right? In Houston, things have slowed a little bit. In Austin, things have dropped from their spring highs. That's a good news talking point. Loan applications were up 25% last week. The buyer strike is over. And this is a term I heard somebody on the internet use, and I liked it, right? We had a buyer strike in November, December. I don't know about you guys, but people were just like, nope, I'm going to celebrate the holidays and just do my thing. you're on your own. Quit calling me. We'll talk next year. That's over. Competition for homes is going to increase, right? It's about to increase. We're already seeing it in my little market in Sacramento. It's a $550,000 house. They got 10 offers on the first day. I was like, oh, like PTSD flashbacks to 21. Now that's not the whole market, but that is a single house. Now may be the time to catch the bottom, which is really, really hard to do. Now maybe it's time to catch the bottom. So this is our buyer talk track and how we're thinking about it. Obviously, tailor this to your market, but you got to start with, if you're waiting for something to change, it did. And now may be the time to catch the bottom or near bottom. Those are the two key points with the supporting documentation in the middle. Okay, let me show you something. On our Monday email, we sent out our little mortgage minute. We need to change the NMLS number and the branding on these. We'll do that next week. But we have that social tile, and then check this out. Your MLOs can get this to you on a custom format based on your market. But if you had a 5% price change since October, which a lot of markets have seen, a 550 house drops to 522. We also had interest rates on October 24th. We were quoting 7.25%, and we're basically, as of a couple of days ago, quoting 6.25%. I think rates have crept up just a little bit in the last few days, but it's just kind of in a range. Okay, we are talking about saving $2,700 on your down payment, $481 a month on your mortgage payment, and then $8,000 in the first year, $8,500. So this is the story that you're telling people. And if you think about this, Adelina opened up this call saying January was slow and fast. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at leads that we received in October, and it feels like yesterday, right? In the context of long tail lead management, folks you talk to in October, whatever story you told them in October is completely different. And so your outbounds in Brivity to all of your leads from basically May through November, December of last year really it's a fresh outreach. They don't know the story. They don't have the story. This is a fresh phone call. And that's how we're looking at it. And that's how I think you win. And I'm seeing 7 chats, and I don't have my chat window open. So hopefully if there's anything in there, someone yell at me. So that's how we're thinking about it with buyers. We're out of time. So the other thing we're looking at on the sell side is, hey, listen, there is a chance that things can go lower. If you want to sell your house, let's sell it, and let's do everything in our power. And this is, you guys have, work with your operators on your listing scripting. But from our perspective, offering seller credits for permanent and temporary buy downs is a phenomenal way to help move listings. And if you have a potential listing, to incentivize them to move quickly, efficiently, price right, offer a seller credit. We have over 70% of our deals right now have seller credits associated with them, which is an indication that it's working to me. And so that's how we're thinking about it on the listing side. All right, Adelina, there you go. That's how we're thinking about the market. Hopefully that helps. We have a hand raise.
Yeah, Brandon, go for it.
Hey, thanks, Jesse. This information is awesome. I was curious, in the new package suite that you have of products, is there a down payment assistance product in there yet?
Yeah, you know what? There is. So they do down payment assistance in 47 states, and they do have the Texas program. We need to get our loan officers approved for it, but we can certainly start talking about it now. So I have work to do on my end before I'm ready, but Envoy does do DPAs. They do the Texas program, the Chinoa program across the country. So yes is the answer. But if you have a lead today that needs that, we need to dot some I's and cross some T's on our end. So we'd probably refer that out to a local Texas loan officer for Envoy, and they'd be able to get that done for you, and we'd be the primary point of contact. So yes, and we'll need some time to do it ourselves, but we could do it today for you really effectively. And that's what we're doing right now with our transition loans, is we're using a couple of loan officer teams in Texas from Envoy to help us just get these deals closed, and then we remain the point of contact with your client. And that'll last another week, and then we're in.
There was another question that popped up in the chat. Also I-10 products, ITIN?
Yeah, we do have an I-10 product. We broker it out, but we do have an I-10.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I need to get more details on that. I don't know all the details, but there is an I-10 product option.
Perfect.
And there's been some pretty significant changes that we're going to start announcing too, not just because of Envoy, but because of the market. So interest rates are going to climb up a little bit for well-qualified buyers, which is unfortunate, but it's going to be nationally. It's not just us. And then we'll be able to do some different things with folks that don't have credit scores on FHA. So there's some big kind of national product announcements that are coming that you'll see in the next few months. We're trying to make homeownership easier for folks that are less qualified, which is thrilling for me, because that's what we need to do, right? We need to get people in houses.
Yeah, I love that because, and it's not something specific to us, it's national. So maybe we'll have you back on to just give us updates on what's going to be changing, when it's going to be changing, and how it's going to affect different populations and different demographics, right? Which I think is super important. If you're in Houston, in the Houston area, I would take up Jesse on his offer to grab a cup of coffee. If I was in Houston, I'd be doing that. It's a 3-hour drive, so that's a little bit more difficult for me. But if you didn't get any of these talk points, remember this whole thing will be uploaded to the YouTube channel, and we will get the slide deck out to you guys as well, so that you don't have to remember everything. If someone, Jesse, has a mortgage need today, tomorrow, this weekend, what's the best way to get in touch with our mortgage company? Like, what do we prefer nowadays?
Two ways. I mean, we prefer the app, the Place Mortgage app, which you all should have downloaded. And that is the best way to get directly into our system because it goes right into HubSpot. We get notified. It's like SWAT team is on that. That is the best way. So Place Mortgage app. Second best way, and always appreciate, is a direct connection with your MLO. We've got Trisha, Ishel, and Jonathan Miller, and they are in the Place roster. They're on our website, and I think they've put their phone numbers in the chat. If you guys haven't put your phone numbers in the chat, do that for me. But a direct, just the same way you guys ask for referrals, a direct connection is always better, right? The direct connection is always better. If we can get on the phone while you have the client sitting in front of you, great. We'd love to start the process as early as possible to make sure that everyone is properly pre-approved before we put you in the car and start burning time and money. Okay.
I love that. I love that. So for everyone on the call, guys, I will send to your team leads. I'll send out the slide deck, and I will also send out everyone who serves, all of the MLOs who serve Texas, so that you are able to have choice and you can get into relationship with these MLOs. And then when you're going on listing appointments this week, one key thing I want to make sure that you guys heard Jesse said, 70% of all deals right now that we're handling have seller credits. So if you need that price adjustment conversation with your sellers, or you're going on a listing appointment, start building those conversations in ahead of time, so it's not at the price of them. I know you're already doing that, but 70% is a very high number, right? It's not 10%,
crazy.
It's not 20%, 70%. That is the market, right? So love that. Okay, that is it for us, you guys. We are good and done. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you so much, Jesse, and the entire team, and all of our Texas folks. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.